some more to run in.
T-minus 30 seconds and counting.
You know, this used to be a hell of a good country. I can't understand what's going on with it.
Chaos.
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 T-minus 15.
Well, they're not scared of you. They scared of what you represent.
10, 9, ignition sequence start.
What you represent to them is freedom.
We have ignition. All engines are running. We have liftoff. We have liftoff.
Good evening, Texas bikers and bikers all across the nation. This is Texas Biker Radio number 318. My name is Butch Popeye Moss. My co-host Mel O.G. Robbins is with me tonight. And Mel, what do you think of the elections, man?
Well, my first thought when I started to see it turn a little bit was, holy shit, because there was a point there where both you and I thought that Beto was going to win over Cruz, but in looking at it further today, other than a sidebar comment of all you guys on Wall Street and you bankers better watch out because she's coming for your ass, is I think it may help more than it's going to hurt in the long run. A lot of these liberals got their wish. They got some of these real dumbasses in office that are just going to wreak havoc in the House for the next 2 years. I think it's going to slow down draining the swamp to some degree, but I think it's going to become real apparent just how stupid some of these people really are. And it may turn more Democrats into voting Republican or, let's say, conservative than would have before.
Exactly.
That's just my thought.
Exactly, Mel. Because let me tell you, all the ugly players are still in place. You know, Maxine Waters, Nancy Pelosi, those type people. Can you imagine Maxine
Even
Waters?
Feinstein made it.
Yeah, can you imagine Maxine Waters in control of banking and finance?
My God, she can barely speak the Queen's English.
She is a certified moron. And she's also, let me see, I think Dianne Feinstein is 85. Nancy Pelosi is around 78, and Maxine Waters somewhere in that age too. It's incredible. It's incredible. Now the Democrats elected, they did elect some more moderate candidates, and they did elect some veterans. And you know, I'm surprised of any veteran running in the Democratic Party. But again, maybe it's the only choice they had because they didn't think they could beat a Republican incumbent. But you know, they found out they could.
Well, the Republicans aren't so sterling. That's why I made the side comment of, vote Republican or let's say conservative.
Right.
I'd vote for a conservative Democrat in a hot second if I knew where his heart was and he backed the Constitution.
Exactly.
That would be my kind of Democrat.
Exactly. You know, if they believe in the Constitution as it's written and not some farce or some what did they call it, the living document.
A living document.
Yeah. You know, I can't go with that, but I can go if they believe in the Constitution word for word as written, because that's certainly go ahead.
I have to say we do not have the most intelligent voters on planet Earth residing here in the United States. It becomes pretty evident in some of the people that get elected. And get this. I mean, how stupid were the voters in Nevada that voted in a dead brothel owner for a Nevada legislative seat.
Yeah.
The guy was dead.
Incredible.
He died after he won a primary, so they had him running running against a Democratic educator in the race for a legislative seat, and the dead guy wins.
How does that work?
That alone speaks miles of where the hell some of these voters' heads are.
How does that work, Mel? I mean,
I don't even know. I mean, it would appear to me, it would seem to me that his name would have been removed from the ballot, that maybe he died after a lot of ballots were printed. But, nonetheless, I lived in Nevada for 20 years, but I have to plead ignorance at this point as to exactly what kind of a balloting system they have, if it's still on paper that you slide into a machine and you punch holes, or whatever the hell it is. If it was electronic, it would seem to me, you just remove the name, but maybe there's some law in there that says whether the guy's dead or alive after a certain date, you can't change the ballot.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah. Well, here in Texas, they did actually vote in a Democrat that's in jail.
Yeah, I read about that.
Yeah.
For taking bribes.
So go figure. And down in the Austin area, they were letting DACA people vote. They're not citizens of this country. And they were.
People ought to be thrown in prison for
that. Hey, look, to clean this up, they're going to have to put some people in jail. And I mean for a good stint. That's the only way they're going to clean this up.
That probably makes me angrier than somebody voting twice, once on their own credentials and once on some dead person's credentials.
Right.
I get more enraged when I hear about a non-citizen being able to vote. That really, I see red. Say something. Mel,
and I see red too when I hear of a taxpayer-funded university like the University of Texas giving Robert O'Rourke over $370,000.
How the hell can they legally do that?
I don't know. Probably a PAC or something they've done there on the deal. And we're going to have to create a PAC. We're going to have to do that. Yep. And so, you guys that are listening out there, you Texas bikers, listen up. We're going to have to create a PAC at some point. And it's a statewide PAC. It can only be spent in Texas. It can only be spent on Texas candidates. We're going to look at creating that. And Mel, let's talk a minute about what effect this has on us bikers here in Texas, because in this area, up in the DFW area, we lost 2 supporters. Don Huffines, and we also lost Connie Burton over in Tarrant County. We still have Bill Zedler. We still have Tony Tinderholt, who won by narrow margins. There was a bit of a blue wave. And, we've seen this before. This happened to Bill Zedler when Obama came into office, that Obama wave that got him elected. And it knocked out Bill Zedler. Now, he won in the next election cycle. So we're going to have to try and get these people back if they run again, whatever else. And, replace them with some people that are going to be, that are going to listen to what we have to say. Now, Mel, we will approach these new Democrats that are in these offices and see if we can have a dialogue with them. And let them.
We may find some old true Democrats, the way the Democratic Party used to be.
Yeah.
That's all we can hope.
That's true. So we will definitely go that route, check these people out, see if they'll listen or if they're just closed-minded, and it's, it's our way or the highway. So we'll be checking that out. We're going to leave no stones unturned going into this next legislative session, which is important as far as motorcycle profiling and other issues we have. And we're trying to do some things that will benefit motorcyclists. Not only in the way of motorcycle safety, motorcycle profiling, dead red light, there are other issues. Inspections. And man, we can talk about inspections for a while.
We were laughing about them just the other day.
That's right. The fact that the inspection sticker process is now attached to your registration, it not only is it a pain in the ass, it's a farce. It is a farce. You can still buy an inspection sticker out there. You can still do it. Just like everywhere, the cheating's rampant. If there's money to be made, they're going to do it. It's like an addiction. But this is what we'll be doing, and what we'll be working at all the way up to January 28th, 2019, when we have Motorcycle Legislative Day. And we encourage every biker that's listening to this radio podcast to be there at the state capitol. Go into the Capitol building and visit your representative and let them know of your concerns, whether it be motorcycle profiling, harassment of motorcyclists, which has spread across Texas and across the nation, and also other issues like the dead red light. That's simple. It's common sense. If a red light does not recognize, when you pull up there, if it does not recognize that you're sitting there waiting on it to change, and it does it through, 1, 2, 3 cycles, like I have happened close to me near my home, that damn thing for years will not recognize that I'm there on my bike. There's not enough metal mass to make the magnet detect me. The magnet detect me, so I can sit there all day. What we're asking is for permission to treat it like a blinking red light, and if it's safe, to continue on. Where we have blinking red lights all over Texas. So it's common sense.
Well, you mentioned something, Mel, that we need to enhance on here, and that is, you mentioned forming a pack. There are, again, we brought this up many times. When we first started talking about it, we said, close to 400,000, 450,000. I got to think there's somewhere in the neighborhood of 500,000 motorcyclists residing in the state of Texas.
Yes.
That is one hell of a voting block.
Yes,
now,
it is.
I'm not going to be stupid here and think that we could capture all 500,000 bikers into the same voting basket, because there are some differences in opinions, and we have to respect that.
Mm-hmm.
But I am willing to bet you there is somewhere in the neighborhood of about 300,000 bikers that would be inclined to vote pretty much the same way.
You bet.
And that would be a conservative constitutional type ticket. This pack we're talking about, and we're going to be working on it harder and more diligently, because you heard us talk about, trying to capture email addresses so we could send out call to action, things like that. We need to get deadly serious about organizing the biking community.
Right.
We all have to come together here, because if this election showed us nothing else, it showed us that you start getting the DACA people together, which the Democrats were able to do. You brainwash the hell out of young students, which the Democrats are able to do. And you get those people voting as a voting bloc, and they wreak havoc.
Mm-hmm.
We, as a biking community, could definitely wreak havoc if we would just get our act together.
You know, Mel,
we can't be complacent. Everyone's been complacent here for a long time. You can't do that anymore.
You know, Mel, I mentioned the other day that, like you're talking about, that's one hell of a voting block, but that is enough power. That is enough power to swing any statewide election.
You betcha. You look at some of the margins on a statewide election, and had the bikers been united, those margins, those close margins, wouldn't have existed.
You know, not that the governor had a great candidate running against him, because he didn't. But, you know, we could influence the governorship. We could influence the Attorney General's office. It goes on down the line in statewide elections.
And, you know, in some instances, you don't even have to get those guys voted out. Once they recognize that you have a powerhouse voting bloc, they're going to pay the hell attention to you.
Exactly. And that's what we aim to do, everybody. And when we make this, I think we're going to do it in conjunction with a petition to the governor. But at the same time, we're going to create this call to action list. And one thing we need to be able to do is, hey, look, we walk into a senator's office, a governor's office, attorney general's office, whoever's office. They say, hey, look, we've got 300,000 members. Listen to us. That's where we want to be, Mel. That's where we want to be.
We desperately need to be there.
Exactly. If you want to stop to the mess you see going on, this is what we need to do. This is what we need to do, because everything that's going on here with the profiling, the harassment, and everything else is a direct result of the governor's and the attorney general's programs. And it does spill over into the regular biking community. Don't think it doesn't. Not when the governor says go out there and stop anybody, get anybody that they even think is a gang member into my database. You know, that's where we're at. And you may not even know you've been profiled, like I've reported before. We had some of our members, their motorcycles were profiled outside of a hotel. Mel, you want to comment on that a little bit?
Yeah, which, the stigma that is being created by the some of the political people in this state.
Yes.
The governor, lieutenant governor, attorney general, trying to, they're starting to remind me of district attorneys who are trying to make points with the public to get elected by their convictions, and they don't give a shit who's guilty. They just want convictions. Between that and what law enforcement is doing to vilify bikers, it's becoming a pretty sad and sorry situation. It's to the point, and let me remind you all, there were issues at Wilson Biker Gear where there were guys stopped and profiled that weren't even wearing a frickin' patch.
Yes.
So, you know, this old thought of I don't have to be worried because it ain't going to happen to me is bullshit. And it was firmly demonstrated by the Fort Worth Police Department.
Yes.
And if you think they're the only ones that are going to be doing it, hey, all these other law enforcement departments watch this crap that goes on, and they say, well, isn't that interesting?
Mm-hmm.
If they can do it, we can do it. And pretty soon it starts to grow. It's like the flu season. It becomes an epidemic. The bullshit bikers were faced with going to the Lone Star Rally, being stopped before they crossed the bridge.
Exactly, man.
Going into Galveston. You know, give me a frickin' break. They weren't pulling cars over to check their license and registration and insurance. They were just pulling bikes over.
Yeah.
You all need to pay attention. I'm telling you, it's getting progressively worse. We keep warning everybody, and sometimes we feel like we're shouting into the wind. But the good thing we are starting to see is we've got bikers that are starting to video it and put it out there, just like that bandito that gets stopped on 45.
You bet.
He's not afraid to video that and put it out there for everyone to see, because by God, I don't care what kind of patch you're wearing, what club you belong to or don't belong to, you have the same rights as everyone else unless you're committing a crime and you get caught, and you're going to pay the piper. But, you know, you've got righteous guys that are wearing patches, that are wearing 1% patches, that have never done anything wrong. It's just what they want to do, and we should have the freedom to be able to do that.
That's exactly
That's
right.
what our country's all about.
It's not illegal to be any biker club in this country. I can't think of one that is banned from actually wearing a patch in this country. Not one. You have the right to exist. And Mel, you know, there was also some harassment going on down in Hamilton, Texas. And guess what? They have a police chief down there now. He was a former Fort Worth police officer. So they were stopping.
You know what that's going to cause.
Yeah, so they were stopping and harassing bikers and doing all kinds of crap when they were trying to have an event down there. And so, you know, they said, you know, it was held to even have the event, just because of the harassment they received from the police officers in that town, Hamilton, Texas. Have you ever been to Hamilton, Texas? Well, it's not that big, brother.
Remember, right after Waco, they shut down a toy ride.
Oh, yes, they did.
Toy ride.
Yes, they did. And I have a movie script for that if we ever get around to getting it done. But Mel, let's switch gears a bit. Let's go the Stockyard Stampede. It's looking good, man.
I'm ready.
I am too.
I am ready.
You know, it's going to be, I think it's going to rain tomorrow or tonight or something, whatever it's going to be. But Saturday, the weather's going to be about 50.
Saturday's dry.
Saturday's going to be dry. It's going to be about 56 degrees. And let me tell you, I don't know about yours, but my motorcycle runs like a bat out of hell in that kind of temperature.
Runs well.
Yes, it does. But that being said, we're going to meet at Strokers, and we're kickstands up at 11:30 a.m. from Strokers, going to the Fort Worth Stockyards. I'm pretty sure we're going to have 100 or better bikes. I would be surprised if we have less than that. That was my computer over there, so
Yeah.
sorry about that. I'd be surprised if we don't have better than 100 bikes, and that's going to be cool doing that, going down the highway, man. That is going to be neat. We're going to go into Fort Worth. We're going to go through the stockyards and up to Wilson's Leather Goods, because his business has been under the gun by Fort Worth PD and people coming out of there. Now remember, we are trolling. We want to be profiled. We want video. Make sure your house is in order. You have a good inspection sticker, that your insurance is up to date, that you have no warrants. We want video of it if it happens. The Fort Worth SRT unit does not own Fort Worth, like they claimed in front of the Vagos MC that was inside Wilson's Leather Goods, sporting goods, leather goods. Let me tell you, they were complying with all SRT units' commands, and them son of a bitches pulled a gun on them with an 8-year-old child nearby. Uncalled for. Now, I did file a complaint with the Fort Worth Police Department, but have as yet to hear from them.
And never will.
And yeah, exactly, Mel. Exactly, Mel. Because we've gone to YouTube and we've seen the way police departments behave across the nation when you seek materials to file a complaint against an officer, against a unit, whatever. They will run you through the mill if they can get away with it. They will even threaten to arrest you if they can get away with it. It is total harassment of an American citizen, of a citizen of Tarrant County, of a citizen of Dallas County, a citizen of whatever county across the nation, whatever city across the nation, where you want to file a complaint against a police officer. And that runs rampant. Now you got some more to add to the Stockyard Stampede?
Yeah, anybody that has any type of capability to video, please make sure your equipment's ready to go, cell phone, whatever it is. As a matter of fact, there's an app. I haven't run one on my phone yet, but there is an app that you can run that allows you to instantly stream video to the internet if you get stopped and you start recording.
Yes.
That's a good thing, because sometimes law enforcement likes to snatch that thing away from you, and once they get their hands on it, they start deleting, and there's nothing left. So please make sure you've got that. We plan on having a lot of fun. I just cannot imagine how awesome it would be to have 100 bikes rolling through the stockyards. Can you imagine the noise?
Hey, Mel.
Level that would create?
You know, we just
It
spent...
would just be totally awesome.
You know, Mel, we just spent a few hours down there the other day. And, you know, we did park our bikes there. And, you know, here come the tourists. Wanted to talk to us, wanted to take pictures of us and our bikes and everything else. The tourists are not afraid of the bikers like the Fort Worth SRT unit is.
Yeah, this one gal was convinced we were from Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah. we had to explain to her
Certain
what
fascination with that.
exactly. We had to explain to them what the Sons of Anarchy is. Fiction. But that's all interesting. We encourage you. We encourage you if after we've done the ride and the rally up at Wilson's, if you want to go back to the stockyards for a beer, do so, and then head on back over to the Strokers, where you can get a good burger and stuff. And so that's what we're going to do, and we're going to get plenty of video.
I have to say, though, unless you're wearing a patch, there probably wouldn't be too much interface with the tourists because they seem to have a certain fascination for a patch.
Yes, they do.
If you're wearing a cut, they're just totally fascinated.
Yeah.
I don't care what club you are, whether you wear a 1%, Diamond 13, a support or no support. If you're just a mom and pop club, if you're wearing a patch, they've got fascination for it.
Mel, and we've been going down to the stockyards to kind of scope things out. For the most part, that place is always pretty quiet, and but we want to add some excitement to it. I think we'll do that. We like that place a lot, so we're going to be going back a lot. And the White Elephant and the Love Shack are pretty cool places. And it's not owned by the Fort Worth SRT unit, and I want Sergeant Steroid to know that we're going to be back there again and again and again anytime we want. He can't stop us. It's our constitutional right to exist. It's our constitutional right to breathe. It's our constitutional right to travel where we want, to assemble, to peaceably assemble wherever we want. And there's nothing they can do about it. Nothing. Except for profile and throw us in the damn governor's database. Be my guest until we get powerful enough to change shit. And that's what we're talking to you about today. Getting political power. And that's where the battle's at. It's not in the streets. It's not fighting each other. Go ahead, Mel.
Now, I was going to say, another way to start enabling this pact to come together in the voting block is make sure you belong to some type of an organization, because we're going to be talking to these organizations about getting this put together. And, probably one of the best you can belong to is your local Texas Coalition of Clubs and Independents, because they basically take everyone, whether you're a club member or an independent, and all we talk about at the COC&I meetings are your rights, motorcycle safety, legislation that's going on. Bill Smith is there quite frequently. I'd say 99.9% of the time, and he's the attorney that we all turn to if we've got issues, and he's very good at explaining what your rights are.
Exactly.
So please join the Texas Coalition of Clubs and Independents. You can join either as an independent or as a club.
Yes.
Now, we aren't having a meeting this month. We meet bi-monthly, and but we're not having a meeting this month because the state COC&I rally is in Austin this year. So that's where we're going to be this month. The next COC meeting that will be here locally will be in January, and we'll have that posted, and we'll let you know exactly where we're meeting. But for now, it's not really Austin; it's Georgetown.
Right.
Is where that rally's going to be. So anybody that can make it down there, please do. You can check out the information on that by going to the COC website, which is cocdfw.com. And you'll see a calendar on there, you'll see events, and you'll see that's posted.
That's right. And at the next COC meeting up here in the DFW area, Region 2, come by. You independents, come by and meet me and OG. Popeye and
What's
OG.
Yeah. The next one's going to be it'll be the third Sunday in January.
Third Sunday in January. Mark that down. Come by and visit with OG and I. And we'll show you the ropes. We'll show you what it really is, rather than what's been described by law enforcement and other clubs that may have something against.
Great group of guys and gals.
And the reason we are there is because it was the best politically organized group out there in the state of Texas. And that's the truth of it. That is the truth of it. That's the reason we are there. We are a political group. Our club. This is what we do. We are defenders of the Constitution. We are defenders of people who have their constitutional rights violated. That's how we ended up in Waco. That's how we ended up there. And to date, there has not been one single conviction of the 177 people arrested, the 154 indicted. There's not been a single conviction. Why? Because they arrested the innocent along with the guilty, the few that were guilty in that parking lot. And most of them may be deceased. Am I not right there, Mel?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That was one of the biggest travesties perpetrated on our community.
That was probably one of the largest cases of motorcycle profiling in Texas history, where people were sent to jail and given $1 million bonds based on what they were wearing and who they associated with. And a COCI meeting is a political meeting. Period. Anything else you want to cover in that, Mel? OG?
No, I think we got it covered pretty good.
Okay, we wanted to cover the latest Harley recall.
Yeah, it came to my attention here the other day. You know, I thought, well, maybe this doesn't have any validity to it, but I pretty well checked it out, and it would appear that, ever since Harley switched over to a hydraulic clutch, there were issues. And both you and I had issues with our hydraulic clutches.
Right.
You got a 2015, I got a 16 Street Glide. And they replaced my master cylinder twice, and it was all under warranty. Well, lo and behold, what's happened here is now they're coming out with another recall of, I think it's around 180,000 bikes, could be more, of the 2018s. And you can go on the Harley site and see the models that are listed. But it's my understanding that what's happening is there's a failure in the hydraulics of the clutch internally in the engine, where the clutch is locking up in gear. Not a good situation because that's just an accident waiting to happen. And what Harley's going to do is they're going to put in place, they've re-engineered it a little bit, they're putting a second piston in place, so it'll be a dual piston, like to guard against failure, but they're supposed to start that recall effort and replacing those parts. I believe it's later this month. It'll be before the end of the year. And it'll be at no cost for the Harley riders, or Harley owners. And I have to say, when they took care of me, it was all done same day. Wham, bam, in and out. And they even offered to pick up my motorcycle if that's what needed to happen. So that's the latest one. If you've got a 2018 Harley Davidson, I would damn sure start checking on that recall, because you've got a situation that could develop on you in that hydraulic clutch that you don't want to have happen to you.
Right now. Right. And like you said, we both had issues with ours, so it's something you certainly want to get taken care of. That's for sure. Well, let's talk for a minute about our podcast that we're doing now. We may get away from Blog Talk Radio. We can control the podcast a little bit better. We'll not have drop calls like we did with Blog Talk Radio. We had plenty of issues with them over the years, although it's been a good platform for us. So we're going to experiment with this. Most of our radio shows now are going to be done through podcasts. They will be posted at YouTube, and they will be archived at texasbikerradio.org. I'll create a page for that, and you'll be able to go down and see all the videos that will be archived there. And so it should be a good thing, Mel, as we go along here.
Should be, and I guess, our plan is to try and plan this out to where we make the change semi-gradually between now and the first of the year. To get everyone used to it, because you'll no longer be going to Blog Talk Radio to see archives. I guess, I don't know, will they be able to still go and see a lot of the old programs after we leave that venue?
If as long as we've got, as long as we're paying for Blog Talk Radio, it will continue to be there. So we'll have to see if we've done 318 shows. That's a lot to go back and collect.
Yep.
So, we may go back and collect maybe a year's worth, and go at it that way. And you'll be able to go back for a year. I hate having to let all those go, but it's rare that we go back. It's rare that we go back. I have more videos archived than I do radio shows. We have a lot of videos going back years. And they're on several different computers that I don't get rid of. And they're speeches made by Birdwell, Senator Birdwell, Tony Tenderholt, other things we've done, other rides we've done. We've got a lot of video that we can go back. And we're even going to use some of those videos in the trials that were to come in Waco. But most of those guys, thank God, have been released. But if anyone wants to claim the COCI is not a true political organization, we're ready to fight that narrative. Because we can prove the work we've been doing over the past decade. And that's the truth of it. And what we want to do with our videos and the things we do is show the public that we're not as being described by law enforcement and other people, that we're just like the rest of our society. We're a reflection of the rest of the American society. We have jobs, we have families, we have expensive motorcycles that got to be maintained. We're no different than anybody else. Are there some bad actors? Yes, there are. Just like there are some bad actors within law enforcement. And we're going to be pointing that out to everybody as we go along here.
And bad actors that get elected to appeal court.
That's true. That's true, Mel. And Mel, I think we about covered it, right, buddy?
I think so.
Okay, everybody. Until next time, ride safe and have a great day.
You betcha. Be safe. We'll see you at the stockyards.
See you at the stockyards. No, wait a minute. See you at Strokers headed to the stockyards. Kickstands up 11:30 a.m. Be with us. Ride safe. Bye-bye. Be ready to video.